alrighty. We on Beyond the Heavy. We right now we with the one and only Spooky, man. Thank you for dressing up, brother. I appreciate it. I love what's going on. Talk to me. Spooky. Extensive history. I'm looking at your stuff. Talk to me. What's some stuff coming up? How do we come into the career? Let's hit it there.
Okay, well, right now, I guess our new manager, Pierre Roland Blaze, who is our buddy, mutual buddies, obviously.
Shout out to Pierre.
The man. So he hooked us up. He hooked me up with you. And, yes, I have various, all sorts of musical projects. Some are under the name Spooky Ruben. But today I really want to talk about my my metal band.
Okay.
And we are called Transilience, and we have a new EP coming out September 29th on Alone Records in Spain. And what else can I tell you? We got a new the first single came out about 3 weeks ago, which is a sort of a lead up single off of the EP called Samurai.
Okay, nice.
And that's the lead up single to the EP. And the new EP is called Nerve Saw. So
Nerve Saw, okay.
Nerve Saw. I want everyone to look up Transilience, new EP, Nerve Saw. We just we got a great first kind of write up in Decibel magazine about a couple of weeks ago, which we got a world video premiere on Decibel magazine that we're excited about. So
nice.
The buzz is starting to happen.
The hype is happening, man. So awesome, man. And it's cool that I got an exclusive with you, man. And I appreciate you sitting down with me. And I know, Pierre, we do have the mutuals of a Pierre. How did you actually come about meeting Pierre? How did you guys come together?
So, you know what? Basically, let's put it this way: the Spooky Ruben music is I would call it like non-metal music. Let's put it's actually like I call it adventure pop.
Adventure pop. Okay.
That's the sound of Spooky Ruben. So, but Transilience was my first real band that we formed in DC, in the DC area, actually on the East Coast. And we basically reformed the band in about 2019. It kind of came together in a random way, but the first Transilience album actually came out in 1989.
Oh wow, okay, so quite some time, man.
It's been, I guess, 34 years in between our first album and our brand new EP. And what happened is when we finished recording the EP and then we got the deal with Alone Records, it was like, I've been so out of the metal scene. Especially in LA. I mean, I only have a few contacts in the LA metal scene. And I mean, I go to LA metal shows actually. And one of the shows I went to was Metal Mondays at 1720. 1720 Warehouse.
Yeah, in downtown LA.
Marco Rubio puts on that show.
Okay.
I don't know if he's had any recently, but anyway, and I just started digging around on Instagram because I was like, you know what? If we're going to be in a metal band, we need a promoter. We need a manager who can get us some metal shows. And so upon digging around on Instagram, because the LA metal scene is actually pretty small, man. It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight-knit network, I don't know if you agree with that, but
a little bit. I think it's just maybe the guys that are showing up, right? They're kind of blowing up, and then we haven't heard these young cats yet. You know what I mean? They're kind of quiet. Maybe they're putting records together. Maybe they're recording. Maybe they're collecting their pennies and stuff. But I'm halfway there with seeing it.
Oh, so you think it's pretty certain? I mean, you know more than I do, So you're saying it's kind of scattered, or I don't know.
Yeah, probably scattered, yeah. I think what we're seeing on Instagram and social media, we're seeing, you know, uh, more of them, right? Some of these young cats maybe, but I think some of them haven't really capitalized, again, like as you said, maybe the promotion, maybe how to use social media a little bit more effectively and stuff, whatever it may be.
For sure.
Mm.
So I guess it's the metal scene is I mean, LA is a massive, it's a huge.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to be fractured.
Yeah, yeah.
I think certain parts of it, just by digging around on Instagram, you can tell certain parts of the metal scene are kind of pretty tight or unified, or let's say, you can tell like which promoters are working together, helping each other, which bands they support, etc.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously in LA, it's gonna be it's gonna be fractured.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but bottom line is that at that show that I saw, I guess it was at least I can't remember all the bands that were playing, but one of the bands was Last of Our Kind.
Ah,
The death metal band that Pierre represented.
yes.
And I was like, well, he's managing Last of Our Kind. They're playing shows. I'm going to hit up Pierre, basically.
Okay.
And then I didn't hear from him for a while. And then and then all of a sudden he hit me back. And then here we are today.
Nice. Okay. Well, last I remember when I had Pierre on the show, he was talking about Last of Our Kind, right? He was managing them, and I'm glad that you reached out to him, right? Pierre's a great guy. I'm glad that you guys are having a good working relationship, man. So I'm glad you found one of the best.
That's what they say, man. That's what I
Yeah.
hope Pierre is watching this, because it's it's his chance to step up.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he'll live up to the good expectations, man. Now he'll be watching. I'm glad he reached out to me. He's like, hey, can you do me a solid? I got this band. I'm like, dude, for Pierre, I'll bend over backwards. Don't worry. You know what I mean? But I want to get to your band. I did hear Seven Samurai.
Okay.
Very progressive, very aggressive and progressive. I like it. I like it. Very different sound, right? Not what these young cats are doing, right? So, talk to me. How did the band? I know you said the band was on an extensive hiatus, right? But what was the decision to kind of come back? What was the thing? What was the catalyst for, like, okay, we're gonna make new stuff in 2019 and then into now?
Right. So, well, I would say the catalyst is actually Jerry Barrett, who is the bass player in Transilience.
Okay.
But he is not the original bass player from Transilience. Him and I go way back. Jerry and I go way back to our high school days, where he was in a band called LDK, and he's in a couple of different bands. And so back in those days, Transilience did a bunch of shows with LDK. And Jerry's just one of those guys where it's like, he's like me. We're like lifers, we're in music to the death, and so he recently, it's a couple of different things that happened. We did Transilience was asked to headline the God, I'm losing my words here. Sorry.
It's okay.
Transilience was asked to headline the Jam for Man 30-year anniversary benefit concert.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Jam for Man is a punk rock concert series that started in Reston, Virginia. Reston, Virginia is a suburb of Washington, D.C., which is where we're all from originally. And so basically, when they asked us to headline, that's how we got this idea of like maybe recording a new song. And then with the help of Jason Browning, who used to play with HR, from Bad Brains, and Jerry
nice.
and Jerry Barrett and Jason Browning were both in the HR band, and they were also both in Corrosion of Conformity.
Ah, nice. Okay.
When the live version of the when Corrosion of Conformity did the Blind album tour.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how that, so that's kind of so because of that show that we did, we were like, let's record a new song. And then Jason had this song that was basically finished, and then I just added vocals and Jerry played the bass on it. And then the song turned out great. And then just so happened that Jerry moved to LA from DC about 2 years ago. And that's when we really got into this idea of, well, we could actually do Transilience again, play live, make a new EP and all this stuff. So we recorded a new EP, and then I sent out the EP like just randomly to like, I don't know, 20 different record labels.
Okay. Okay.
And one of them was Alone Records, which is an indie label based out of Spain.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Miguel, who's the owner or the president of the label, somehow he just, I don't know what happened, but I guess he loved our sound, and so
nice.
So here we are, like within 2 years, we made a new EP and we got signed, and now we're ready to play live, basically,
Perfect, man. Perfect. So Transilience is ready to hit the road.
Big time.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, jumping in real quick just to let you know about today's sponsor, Metal and Iron. Are you a gym goer? Do you like listening to metal? Do you like lifting heavy? Well, Metal and Iron's got you covered with shirts and designs that are there to let people know that you're about the heavy lifestyle. None of this Gymshark shit, none of this Adidas, Nikes, nah, you're there to lift the heavy shit. So check it out. Use the code BEYONDHEAVY for 15% off and let them know Mayhem sent you.
So I want to ask, since I did hear your guys' latest single, the Seven Samurai, what I gotta ask, since it's got a lot of mixtures of things, right? It's heavy, but I want to ask you, as a band, what are the influences that kind of create this sound? Because it's very, very unique, and I want our listeners to kind of be like, okay, I gotta check this band out, right? So I want to hear from you, what was the influence to put this together? What is something that you guys draw from?
Well, that's a good question, but you know what, Matt, but do I call you Matt or Mayhem?
Whatever you feel comfortable, brother.
Do people generally call you Mayhem or Matt?
They do. They usually just call me Mayhem. Yeah.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
So Mayhem, before I answer that question, can you tell me, how would you describe our sound? Like what do you hear in our sound?
Oh man. Okay. Putting me on the spot. Okay. All right. I like it. Well, I want to say it's kind of like progressive thrash. I mean, if I had to, I don't like putting bands in boxes. Okay. I really don't. That's why I call the show Beyond the Heavy, because everybody's welcome. But if I had to, if a listener were to ask me like, hey, how would you describe this band? I would be like, maybe some progressive thrash, maybe, I hear a little bit of Mr. Bungle, you know what I mean? Some progressive stuff, but it's also heavy, that guitar tone, the drums, it's pounding you, so that's what I got. Hopefully that answered your question.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, when you say progressive thrash, I would agree with that. I would call it progressive thrash. I'm just thinking, what other band? Okay, besides Mr. Bungle,
yeah,
what are some other progressive? Can you name me some other progressive thrash bands? I'm just curious.
Progressive thrash? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what would be. I think it's like a whole new genre for you guys, right? Because I'm thinking, because I can't really compare. Like, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Bungle would probably be the closest I could probably compare you guys to, but as progressive thrash, I wouldn't know, like any specific band that would be progressive thrash, right?
But I mean, even like, you could call Megadeth could be considered progressive thrash.
I was literally gonna say that. Yeah, because I was like, hey, maybe because Rust in Peace, one of the greatest thrash albums, if not the greatest thrash album of all time, is very progressive, very
Right.
technical, very out there. You know what I mean? And and then but you got Slayer who are just like, just blasting you in the face, no
Yeah,
progressive stuff.
they're not progressive.
They're not progressive, yeah. But they're thrash though. So I mean, I say progressive in the sense of very experimental, right? Very, different instruments, different things coming in. Also, the thrash part, the aggressive part. That's where I came up with that. But again, that's my interpretation.
Well, no, I mean, that's, I think we call it, I think, I think on our Instagram it says we are sci-fi thrash.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I was close.
This is as
Yeah.
kind of futuristic, which, I mean, I would say for my part, on my part, for sure, we are heavily influenced by Voivod, but
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yes, yes, I am. Yes, yeah.
So, so we're definitely kind of, I mean, as you can tell, I mean, we're not exactly spring chicken,
Nah, no, 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 no. You could
Our
hear it.
style, our style of metal is definitely more OG thrash, because I think it's just funny. Sometimes I just feel like I'm so out of the loop with metal, because whenever people talk about metal now,
Mhm.
usually talking about death metal, like all the new bands are all death metal. They're not, I mean, rarely are, well, I guess there are some kind of like younger OG thrash bands, I guess. There are some,
Yeah.
but generally speaking, I feel like when people are talking about metal nowadays, they're talking about, death metal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like this new wave of like modern death metal and like, grindcore and that type of stuff. I mean, that's a rabbit hole within itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. But there is some young cats, that and I'll send you some links that I had on the show that are having a very classic sound, man. Very, straight to the point. We're not gonna detune the guitars, we're gonna play in standard tuning type of stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, because yeah, I mean, yes, I would love for you to send me some links of some younger bands,
Yeah.
because I feel like without a doubt, I'm like a little bit out of the loop when it comes to the newer metal bands out there. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is just there's so much, right, to keep up, right? There's so much to kind of like absorb, like, oh, there's this new band, and then there's this, and then there's that, and then, and like when Pierre was working with Last of Your Kind, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, okay, there's this band, so I completely understand where you're coming from.
yeah, and it's like, or there's also like, now there's like all these metal bands that use like that integrate like EDM and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like soundscapes and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, all right.
Raver music, honestly, I'm just like, some of it, I'm like, man, this is like, you're doing exactly what metal is against.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, to me, I don't know, there's certain spin-offs of metal where I'm kind of like, this is actually what we were fighting against. Like, as metalheads, as metal musicians,
Yeah.
it's like these forms of metal now that are out there that it's like, no, this is not what we wanted. We didn't want, this is not supposed to go this way, man. So,
Uh,
I don't know, I guess I just feel a little bit, I guess sometimes I just feel a bit like a walking antique when I'm
yeah, hey, no, don't look. Hey, but you know what's a good thing about antiques is that they're classics, brother. You can't get wrong. You can't go wrong with the classics. So
yeah, that's what I'm talking.
yeah. But you were saying Voivod, but what other bands are you that inspire you guys? What is something, like, I gotta hear the influences. I gotta hear
Okay,
what
so
you're grooving to.
I hear you. So I would say, um, our original influences, I would say, are Voivod,
Okay.
Watchtower. I don't know if you remember Watchtower.
Watch her.
So Watchtower is probably the definition of progressive thrash metal. And
Okay.
they came out in like the late 80s, mid 80s, I guess.
Mhm.
And they were basically like, imagine Rush meets Metallica. Like that's what they sounded like. And so they're like the pioneers of progressive thrash metal.
Interesting. Okay, I'm a look at that. I'm making notes of it right now. You
And
say,
so they're originally from Austin, Texas, actually. And
ah,
so they were playing a lot of gigs in that in the 80s, you know, in the San Antonio scene and in the Texas scene. They're up there. I mean, um, and
okay.
and the crazy thing is that they're now playing, they're starting to play reunion shows again right now.
Ah, okay.
And I'm
Okay.
hoping to go see them actually next month in San Antonio, actually. So
Ah, nice, nice. Okay, okay.
but there, I would say Watchtower was definitely, I would say Watchtower was like a huge influence. They were like our number one influence. You know?
Ah,
And
okay.
then there was Voivod, obviously, because Voivod had the more trippier kind of psychedelic kind of thrash metal going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then next to that, we were actually not so much into metal bands, but more into like thrash hardcore, like hardcore bands.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
where I'm talking like a big one was No Means No was a huge band for us.
okay,
A band called Beyond Possession from Calgary, Alberta, that I was massively into.
okay,
Right, it was
okay.
like that real crossover sound, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or corrosion of conformity, where it's like you could hear the metal and the punk hardcore, the thrash, just like all in one sound, you know.
That just the reverb, the heavy,
Yeah,
the bottom end stuff. Yeah, yeah,
fast, you know, and fast.
yeah.
You know, DRI, shit, man, all that shit. You know, what else I'm trying to think of? What else were we super into? I was also super into the Melvins when they came out.
Oh, the Melvins, man, classic,
Yeah.
classics.
So
Yeah.
a lot of the and a big influence is also Bad Brains was a huge influence for us. So we sort of like, in my mind, you know, we took our favorite bits of like, you know, thrash hardcore and our favorite bits from these progressive metal bands, and we kind of
Hmm.
put it into a blender, you know. And actually we're also influenced by some of the funkier bands. Like there was I don't know if you remember 24/7 Spies.
24/7. No,
They were kind
didn't.
of like they were like a black metal, not like they were like not black metal, but they were like a funk metal kind of band.
Funk metal. Okay,
Fun-
okay.
like funky.
Funky. Yeah, yeah. Like almost like a corn.
Like
Like
they had
a.
like Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of parts.
Oh, okay, okay,
With like
okay,
slap bass and all that shit.
okay, okay.
On our first album, A Mouthful of Buildings, there's a bunch of like sort of funky slap bass parts. And
Oh man.
we sort of like, you know, within one song, we would kind of like go from like some fast, like punk kind of riffs into like jazzy, kind of funky parts.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we were kind of doing Bungle before Bungle. You know?
Before Bungle, that's cool, man.
Mr.
That's
Bungle,
cool.
Mr. Bungle.
Yeah. No, they're great, man. Like that's one of those things about like Mr. Bungle too. It's a very, very progressive band, man. You gotta admit it. That's one of those like when you think Mr. Bungle, you can't really put them in the box. A lot of great musicians. And again, coming from thrash, right? You got, Scott Ian, you got Dave Lombardo, the godfather of double bass, you know what I mean? So and then they're making this sound, you're like, dude, that sounds nothing like Slayer or Anthrax. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Right.
so yeah.
Well, it's this. I think it's the idea that Mr. Bungle, the sort of like base idea that the ideology of Mr. Bungle is very similar in Transilience, where it's like there's no rules here. You know,
Yeah,
we're basically we're metalheads, but we would be lying if we said that all we do is listen to metal. That
of
would be
course.
that wouldn't be honest. You know, and I think
Yeah.
some like that's how I feel about being in, I think some people, I know for sure that a lot of the Spooky Reuben fans who are into my solo material do not understand this cage that I'm wearing on my head, and they don't understand, my metal side, which is completely fine. It's just that if you want to understand, like, but I think, like, if I wasn't doing Transilience, then I wouldn't be an honest musician.
I got you.
It's like, I'm not trying to, I don't want to confuse people, but at the same time, it's like I need to make the music that that's in my heart, the music that I speak, that speaks to me, or the music that I, like, so, it's like, I'm sorry if my branding is confusing.
Yeah.
My branding isn't tight. Is that my branding is untight, and it's crooked, and it's not marketable. I'm sorry if it doesn't fit into a certain box,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, I would imagine that there are also listeners out there that are interested in honesty and interested in someone being true to themselves,
Of course. Yeah. And that's I kind of like what you were saying, the expression, right? That's how you express yourself, right? Every musician, every artist, every metal band, there's a form of expression, right? And I think there's, as you're saying, hey, there's the Spooky Reuben stuff, right? And then there's the heavy side of Spooky, you know what I mean? And this is a great transition, and I want to ask this, I think it's a very good question, where how does it translate, and how do you transition from the Spooky Reuben stuff to Transilience? Because the Spooky Reuben stuff is not, as you said, it's not metal. I heard your tracks, these days are old, LA Minute, I'm there, brother. I do my research. And it's not metal. It's not metal, but it's music. I like that. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome, but how do you transition into that? Do you got to put on the thing to transition, or how does it work, brother? Talk to us.
No, you said it, man. You said Mayhem said it first. I'll show you. This is how I transition, okay, from Transilience, from my metal mania, into the soft pop sounds of Spooky Reuben. It's this simple. I go like this.
What's up, everybody? Want to jump in really quick to tell you about one of my favorite brands and my brothers over at Heavy Defender Merch. Heavy Defender Merch products are a must-have for any heavy metal fan. Their banners, pins, and apparel is made from high-quality materials that feature bold, eye-catching designs that are truly to capture the essence of the metal lifestyle. The shirts are comfortable and durable as hell, man. The hoodies are perfect for when you're leaving the whiskey and it's fucking 2 o'clock in the morning, it's cold as shit. Heavy Defenders offers a great selection of products for any metalhead looking to represent their passion in freaking style. With unique designs and quality material, hey, check out HDM.
And now,
and he breaks, yeah, and
I'm gonna take all my clothes off, and you're gonna lose all your listeners and all.
That's fine. That's fine. That's all good.
No, but basically,
I might get more. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but basically, no. I mean, I think, with the new with the new Transilience album EP, I was like, I want to do something. I'm super inspired by this band. One of my favorite metal bands. They're actually beyond. Speaking of beyond the heavy, there's a band called Portal. I don't know if you know Portal. They are like an experimental death metal band, and they're it's actually, I think it's classified as like horror experimental death metal.
Okay, I'm gonna look them up right now.
Portal. You should check out their video, The Curtain. Anyway, the guy, not in
Interesting.
all his videos, the lead singer, his name is the Curator. He wears a cuckoo clock on his head.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like a mask. And there's something that really struck me about that. First of all, I love this band. I mean, they are like beyond music. It's so like art directed and so conceptual,
Mm.
and it's I mean, it's outside of music. It's practically like soulless noise, you know.
Okay.
But if you spend time with it, there's a craft to it, and I don't know how they do it, but they're just this band that I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated with Portal.
That's how I am with Nine Inch Nails. That's how, like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, how you talk about them is how I talk about Nine Inch Nails. Like, I love Trent so much. I'm just like how, you know what I mean? Like you, yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Basically, I'm fascinated with this band Portal, and I think, because we were talking about, oh yeah, we should make a video, and then I started thinking about like, did people, we're talking about making a music video and like what our image is going to be for Transilience, and it's like, because whether you like it or not, even if you say we're a band and we don't have an image, it's like if you just wear like jeans and t-shirt on the back of your album, that's an image of a band,
Of course, yeah.
And so I just thought I wanted to do something more creative, that was like more theatrical, and somehow I came up with this idea of a bird cage with an actual bird.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
The thing that kind of makes me angry about this, it's like, look, I'm shining the light on the thing, and you can barely see the
barely
bird.
see it. Yeah, yeah.
It's like this struggle that we've been having, like, and even in the video that we shot, it's like you can't see the bird.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we're going into this other territory, but basically, I just decided that this would be my way of transformation, of transforming from Spooky Rubin into just Spooky.
Yeah.
Who is the lead singer, guitar player in Transilience.
Yeah. It's metaphorical. Huh? I like it. I like it, and I was like, let me ask him. I gotta see, that was actually gonna be my follow-up question, but I guess that's how we got that question answered, because it's a beautiful thing to see an artist reinvent themselves and find other characteristics of themselves, right? Because you, like, again, like Spooky Rubin, again, for our listeners, hey, if you listen to them, it's not metal, but you're gonna like it. And then with Transilience, completely different, right? So it shows the expression, like, hey, I could do this and that. So I want to give you kudos to that, man. That's amazing. And I'm glad that our listeners can hear that and see that about you.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot. I mean, and I think, in terms of it symbolize, I think I haven't actually fully formulated the symbolism of the bird cage on my head, but I think it definitely alludes to this idea of kind of being trapped, in as a, this idea of like, as a citizen of the world, we're always kind of trapped somehow,
Yeah.
So this is my kind of way of sort of visualizing this idea that, you as an individual, as individual as you want to be, you're always going to be trapped by something, you're going to be trapped by other people's ideas and what they put on you. They think that, it's kind of symbolizes like how people have all these ideas about who you are, and that you're kind of trapped by what people think about you,
I gotcha.
Kind
of like somewhat like people's perception of you. becoming your reality? Is that kind of like what you were trying to allude to?
How their perception is going to affect your perception of who.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. And yeah.
And the sad thing is like you can say, it's easy for people to say, oh, just be, do what you want to do, be who, don't listen to the people, just be who you want to be. But you can say that, and a lot of people say, oh, just you do you, fuck what the people say.
Yeah.
But the reality is that that whatever the other people say, it is gonna penetrate you somehow.
Exactly.
One way or another.
Yeah, one form of, yeah, I agree with that, man. That's great. Yeah, I see it. I feel it with it, because when I saw like some of the stuff for I know when I was looking on your page for on Spotify for Transilience, I saw the cage. I was like, is this the same guy? Like, hold on, wait a minute. You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on here? And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Almost kind of like the first time all of us kind of saw Kiss, we saw, Slipknot, you know what I mean? Like stuff that we saw that were like, whoa, what is that? And then it made us like, well, I gotta check out this band, you know what I mean? And so, kudos to you for doing that, and to be like, hey, like, dude, I'm gonna do this. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm gonna do it, so I love it, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. So Spooky, I hate to put a pin on it today, man. I know we only cut a little bit of it, I would love to bring you back on when the album is out, right? We sit down, yeah, we talk more, we get the other band members in, like, right? So, I got to put a pin on it today, but I want to ask you, where can the people find you? What's coming up? The plugs. Talk to us.
Okay, so our EP comes out. It's coming out on vinyl, actually. It's a vinyl EP, 4-song EP. It's called Nerve Saw. It's coming out September 29th. We will be playing a record release show in the LA area around that time. We don't have a date yet, unfortunately, but that's Pierre's job.
we got to put him to work.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be playing at Chain Reaction in Anaheim.
Okay.
And it'll probably be, at this point, I'm guessing it'll probably be maybe second week of October. So Mayhem, I hope you can make it out, man.
You let me know, brother. You let me know. Let Pierre let me know. I'll see. Hey, I'll bring the wife out.
Okay.
Hey, we'll see what we can do. And then
let's pump it. Let's get a bunch of kids out to this one.
Let's some kids out, man. Yeah. I'm excited, dude. Let's go. Hey, and then if we catch up after the show, let me try that on. Let me see if it fits my big head, Nah, I'm just kidding. You don't want all the grease beard and all that stuff on there,
Oh, so. But trust me, if I give it to you after the show, it's gonna be more grease from me than from
yeah. No, but keep me posted on that show, brother. We'll be out.
Yeah, so the EP is coming out, and look us up. You can go to, in fact, you can pre-order the EP now. You can pre-order the vinyl now. If you go to our Instagram, there's a pre-order vinyl link. I suggest you hop on before it sells out.
And it will be here. It will be in the show notes there, here, wherever.
Okay.
YouTube and stuff, whatever.
Anywhere.
It'll be here. You press it, and then you buy it, and then you enjoy it there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, brother. So Spooky, good talking to you, brother. I appreciate your time, man. Yeah. So let me go.